our first victim. I'm just going to go through a slideshow first of some pictures I took before I post the videos. There's chronologically, the pictures are mostly first, but there might be some overlap. Anyway, as you can see here, we're looking at a white plane with some very patriotic red and blue stripes. In other words, I have no idea what this is. Looks cool. It's amazing that these things can go and fly with that tiny little propeller on the front, but that's the magic of physics. And there's another view. I imagine this is somebody's private plane or some flying club that's trying to encourage somebody to sign up, which sounds really awesome, but is also sadly expensive. There's a war chopper. Boy, that thing's got a tiny little cockpit. There's the business end of whatever engine is spinning those whirly blades up top. Ideal Aviation. There you go. They got a plane and a chopper. And yeah, it's quite the glass canopy there. You can even look down through the floor at your, through your feet. That's probably good on approach, I imagine. That's a slick looking sucker. It's got the suicide doors. The Lamborghini doors. Are those suicide doors? I don't think they are. Suicide ones are the no, I'm thinking I'm confusing them with the seagull doors. I don't know. Lamborghini doors, we'll call them that. That is a nice looking aircraft, huh? Got 3 blade prop. So that last propeller only had 2 blades, and this one has 3. I wonder what the advantages are. There's got to be some kind of trade-off there. Weight and RPMs versus power, maybe. I imagine 3 blades probably gives you more power. You know, there's a slick picture down the starboard side wing. I know that. Starboard is right, port is left. For all of those un-nautical folks out there. Oh, boy. Look at that cockpit. That's, man. Got dual color screens. Nice little touchpad or keypad there in the middle, center console. Yeah, man, I wish I knew how to fly. I would love to get a pilot's license, but I just can't quite afford that. All right. Please don't touch the propeller. I guess the 2 previous planes didn't have signs on them, so maybe those were open to touching. I lost that opportunity. So the plane, the wings on this one are up top. Yeah, I don't know. I really wish I knew more about this stuff. I'm sure that gives, engineering advantages. Okay, here's a real sucker. This is a Osprey, a M22. Oh gosh, I definitely should know that. It's something 22. This is actually a Boeing product in conjunction with Bell. This is that tilt rotor aircraft that, it gives you the advantages of a helicopter in terms of maneuverability and hovering and agility at slow speeds. And then you can tilt the rotors forward in the configuration you see now, and it gives you airplane advantages in terms of range, top speed. Unfortunately, these things they do continue to crash, it seems. There was a fatal crash earlier this year, I believe. I think it was the week before this air show, actually. Out in, is that the one in El Centro? There's been quite a few aviation military mishaps this year that have resulted in fatalities, and that's always incredibly sad. But when these things are working, they're pretty cool. I actually have a video coming up walking through this, so stay tuned for that. MV22, there it is. I was close. Yeah, so here's the look from straight ahead. So these can actually be mid-air refueled. I think that probe to the left, that might be for that purpose, but don't quote me on that. It's somewhere over there if that's not it. It might be hiding. But yeah, it's not the traditional kind of from the top. If you see a tanker refueling a fighter jet, the fighter is always kind of, below the tanker and the probe comes in from the top. So these aren't like that. These are they get refueled head on, straight on. Helicopters do the same thing because obviously you got blades spinning and, at the top, or in this case on the sides. And yeah, I imagine that refueling's got to be even worse than the jets. Here we go. I took a picture of a few of these signs. I don't know if I should read them or not. I'll read this one and then I'll let you guys read them from now on. Boeing MV-22 Osprey. The Osprey arose from the need for a high-performance cargo aircraft able to take off and land like a helicopter, recognized in the aftermath of the unsuccessful Iran hostage rescue mission in 1980. In response, the Joint Service Vertical Takeoff Landing Experimental JVX aircraft program started in 1981. A partnership between Bell Helicopter and Boeing Helicopters was awarded a development contract in 1983 for a tilt rotor able to rotate its wing, engine, and large engines to transition from vertical to horizontal flight and back. The Osprey first flew and began flight testing in 1989, but the technical complexity and difficulties of its totally new and untried technology led to many years of development and numerous crashes before it was finally perfected. And we'll put perfected in quotes there. The Marines received their first production Ospreys in 1999 and sent them into combat in 2007, replacing the CH-48 Sea Knight helicopter. The Air Force began operating Ospreys in 2009. Since entering service, they have been deployed in Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, and Kuwait. The Navy has also ordered Ospreys for carrier onboard delivery and other duties, with deliveries to the fleet expected in the mid-2020s. I'm not going to read the stats, and I'm not going to read any more of those signs. You people are perfectly capable of reading them. There is a sweet tri-propeller, part of the tilt axis engines. Yeah, the whole engine, the whole thing tilts. The propeller blades, the engine. You got to imagine the next variant on this is going to have jet engines, you would think, huh? Probably not. There's probably a reason why that's not going to be the case, but yeah, so it's just a big transport plane. Well, not that big, but it opens up. We're in the rear now. You can kind of see it open, and like I said, video of that coming. All right, on to the next one. I sadly don't know what this is. This plane was a little before my time. I know that. It does look like some kind of carrier operator. And I'm going to shut my mouth before I say anything else. And we got another chopper here. Which one is this? Not sure. I took a picture of the doors. They come off just like a Jeep. I wonder if they got a little sticker in the windshield that says it's a chopper thing you wouldn't understand. We'll find out. Ooh, there's some horsepower. Takes a lot to spin the wings on top. Yeah, look at that with the doors open. It really opens up in there. I see the med packs on the left, so this is probably serves the sad but very critical role of casualty evacuation. There's a kid playing. Oh yeah, I wish I'd gotten video of this, but I missed it. Yeah, so they had kids in there playing with the joystick, and you could see the rotors on top, actuating based on where the stick was being moved. I thought that was pretty cool, but I was unable to procure a video. It's a little tight trying the helmet on. There's the very cool system. So yeah, I know a little about it, but you kind of see the rods and things there on the in the center of the axle. So those kind of move up and down to change the pitch of the blades. And that determines, whether you go up or down, and probably does some other things, but that's the crux of how a helicopter operates as far as I know. And yeah, jet intake danger. You don't want to get close to that while it's fired up. One more look at the cockpit. And a look from a little further away. Huey, yes. I think that was probably the same kind that we're flying over when I was driving in. But again, do not quote me on that. And like I said, I'm not going to read that. You can go ahead and pause if you want to read through that. There's another cool looking jet. Looks like we're starting to get into the bigger things. Here we came up with the Chinook. So this is a dual rotor, counter-rotating blades, which eliminates the need for a tail stabilizer. This is another workhorse transport airplane, or helicopter. And as far as I know, Boeing is still cranking these things out. They're certainly upgrading them. And, that's weird. I took a picture of the sign. Oh, I think I got another video of a walkthrough of the Chinook. Yeah, it probably would have been better if I synchronized the pictures with the videos, but that's a little more work than I want to spend, so sorry. Onward with the pictures. This is the business end of something. Got the dual exhaust. Okay, yeah, that's another older plane that I'm not going to know. Part of the Marines. I'd guess probably Vietnam era. There's the Chinook. All right. Boy, the helicopters really got the glass floorboards there. That's pretty cool. That might be a little unnerving when you're if you're unused to a glass floor. But you guys ever gone up to the Sears Tower, the Willis Tower now, and stood out on the glass floor? I haven't, but I've seen pictures of it. I imagine it's got to be kind of like that. And another view straight on. Here's a shiny sucker. Don't know what that is, but boy, you can make sure your hair is all nice and neat in that fuselage. There you go. It's a Beech D18S. I can say I've never heard of that one, but pause and read at your leisure. There's a distance view of the Huey and the white one. Oh man, yeah. So I was walking through that grass and I happened on this little ditch and I saw a frog in there, but I saw the ripples from a frog. He was not kind enough to pose for a picture, but I took one anyway. All right, back to the planes. Here's another red and white, white and red. Don't cross the caution tape. Well, that's a sleek looking sucker. Is that a Russian star on the tail? I wonder if those are painted in adversary rolls. They look kind of like it, but then they also got Marines and stuff on them. So yeah, never mind. That can't be true. Plus, I don't think they'd really bring adversarial roll planes here. That's a big deal, though. They certainly do that. Our guys train hard, and they fly up against. They try to mimic what they think enemy capabilities are, and they go all out in terms of obviously flight characteristics and strategies, and they even paint the planes the color of the enemy, the design. So that's certainly a thing, but in this case, probably not. Yeah, I totally take back. That star doesn't look Russian at all anymore. Oh, that's a cool little lineup there. Again, a bunch of planes I don't know. Oh, that's I know that. That's an F-16. That is, yeah. It's a pretty sleek profile from the front. It's got the big gulp on the bottom. And it's very bulbous canopy. You can see it bulges out. And this plane I always felt like was so small. It's just like trying to get bigger. Oh, AC just kicked on. I apologize for the air whooshing, but it's too hot to turn that off. So there's another look of its pretty massive intake, I'd say, certainly for the rest of it, in relative size. Yeah, this is just it's like feel like an F-16 is like a Mazda Miata. It's a little go-kart that zips around and has a lot of agility. It's not a stealthy airframe, but these, you throw on some EW jamming capabilities and And these suckers can be very capable assets. But they are tiny. You see this up to next to like an F-15, and it looks like a go-kart. That is a drop fuel tank on the bottom, I believe. And another aft shot off to the side. Alabama, I saw the Alabama. That's a little disappointing. Clemson guy here. That's kind of a big rival. In fact, this might be Saban's personal F-16. Who knows? Boosters probably give him one every year. Getting closer to the business end. Boom! There it is. You don't want to be there at the wrong time. I have no idea how much thrust this thing produces, but it's enough to get your attention. And there's an even bigger shot. Yeah, I don't really know how this works. I guess the afterburner, if you got that on, it starts spraying fuel probably directly in this outer ring, I imagine. But I do not know that for sure at all. And pretty cool shot of underneath. Is this the same plane? I think it is. I think that's the F-16 still. Yeah. What is that? Is that the same one? Yeah, I think that's still the same one. I'm trying to think what static displays they had. They had I don't even think they had an F-18. There was no F-35. I think the F-16 was about as modern as it got. This is another F-16. Now, I don't know what missiles these are, but that one on the bottom underneath, I think that's a real seeker head on that thing. I think that might be a Sidewinder. Again, don't quote me on that. I'm not sure what this one on the end is with the white nose cone. That might be a longer range AMRAAM or something. See, look at that. That looks like a real seeker head to me on that. If it is a Sidewinder, that would be an infrared seeker head, I believe. I'm pretty sure Sidewinders are infrared. Of course, these days they might do it all with radar, infrared, and even imaging, target recognition. But Sidewinders are meant for close air-to-air combat, I believe. Close these days is relative also. But yeah, Sidewinder these days I think will do a full 180. You can get on YouTube and they got video of these things launching and just immediately turning 180 degrees and hitting targets behind them. It's pretty gnarly. Yeah, there's a good picture of the big gulp on the F-16. All right, what do we got here? Douglas C-54, it looks like. All right. Not familiar with that one. It looks like they're charging admission. Jeez. Okay. Well, I did not pay to walk through that, but I guess maintaining these things ain't free, so I assume that's some kind of transport plane. There's a C-17. I recognize that. I hope that's a C-17. Pretty sure it is. That's another Boeing plane. They actually discontinued those about 5-6 years ago, I think. Yeah, just a workhorse carrier for the Air Force. It's not the biggest one. I think the biggest one is the C-5 Galaxy. That's a Lockheed plane. That thing, the whole nose lifts up and you load it from the front. That's pretty wild. C-17 just has the back ramp. And they used to manufacture I think it was the back ramp or the back door in St. Louis. It's a massive thing, obviously. Final assembly for the C-17 was out in California, so I guess they'd put together these doors and ship them all the way out to California. And I often wonder the logistics of that. Like, that happens all over the place. You assemble this part of it and then ship it across the country to another part, and you think it'd be cheaper just to do it all in one place, but that's either not true or not an option. Oh, gotta get a self-portrait, a little selfie, a little sauce in there, gotta squeeze that in. Yeah, this was pre-sunburn. I get sunburned at the air show every year. It's like the first thing in summer. And I actually did put on some sunscreen, but I was wearing this backpack, and I'm pretty sure that that wore it off. Yep, there's some more C-17. You see people crowding under the planes. So at these air shows, they're trying to find shade wherever they can, and that usually means under the airplanes. All right, so this thing is I forget the exact. I took a picture of the board. It's a guppy, is what they call it. I don't know what this thing carries. I think this is from NASA. Let's see. Oh, there's a cool, man. Look at that. That's a crazy looking front profile. Guppy. Yeah, well, you see the board off to the left. I did take a picture of it. Yeah, here we go. Super Guppy Transport. And not so long ago, California. All right, you guys can read that if you want. Looks like they're loading some big stuff into it. It's crazy that they can load tons and tons of gear into these things and they get off the ground. Yeah, this was, I think that's a B-52. I think that's the dock plane flying. I actually did not get great video of that while it was flying. I was still walking around looking at stack displays while the air show part started. So I missed kind of some of the beginning of it in terms of the camera. But yeah, I do have some pictures of it later. It's bright and shiny. It's called Dock. They got the Seven Dwarfs Dock on it. And I think it's one of the few, flyable B-52s left in the country. There's more Guppy engines. I just saw this guy. The name kind of cracked me up a little bit. I don't know. Hold my bike. I'm sure that's a euphemism for something. Okay, we'll move along. That is a KC-135, I believe. I did go into this. You can see the line. Yeah, I went into this, and that was really awesome. It was a long wait, and I was wondering what took so long. But once I got in there, the airmen and women were very nice. They sat there, answered questions. In fact, later on, there's a video of me actually laying down in the back of this thing where the boom operator sits. And she went over all the controls, all the joystick, the whole thing. It was really very interesting. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, there's the 135 Stratotanker. Of course, if anyone's been watching the news at all, the KC-46, at least eventual replacement for this, is having nothing but trouble, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not going to get into that now, but one of the big things is the vision system. So in a traditional tanker, you have somebody actually lay down in the back and see out the back through a window and control the boom with the joystick. In the KC-46, it is a 3D remote vision system. So the boom operator doesn't lay down. She sits somewhere else in the airplane. They put on 3D vision goggles and try to steer this boom. And it got so bad that a few years ago, Boeing decided to trash the entire system and rebuild it up from scratch. And before you start screaming, "Get off my lawn," or Boeing's absorbing all the costs for that, so it's not your tax money. But anyway, and it looks like something was flying there. So these pictures are too far away where I'm not even going to have a guess at what some of this stuff is. All right, finally, this is me. This is from the 135. Finally made it up the stairs, looking out. Yeah, it was a really, really cool video. Certainly stick around for that. There's Doc. So this was this is a B-52, I think. I hope it's a B-52. No, that's not a B-52. That's a, oh my gosh. That's a B-20 something, I think. 26 maybe. It's definitely not a B-52. No, man. I'm going to have to go back and take that out. Sound like such an idiot. That's definitely not a B-52. I apologize. It's a B-26, I think. 52 has actual jet engines, and they're still flying B-52s. Yeah, this is a legacy plane. I think it flew in World War II, or maybe right at the end of World War II. Yeah, every time I said B-52 a few times back, scratch it. Yeah, there it is. They obviously go to great pains to keep this thing maintained, and it goes around to air shows, and they still fly it. B-29. All right. I was close to the 26. Let's see. Most advanced combat aircraft, World War II. There you go. All right. First flown September 1942. So, yeah, it was kind of caught the tail end of the war. But okay. Interesting stuff there. You guys can pause and read it if you want. Here's one of the massive engines with the 4 props. Oh, little oil leak. It's all right. Well, Mr. Clean Magic Eraser will take care of that. No problem. There's another view from the view of the Guppy. Oh, this is later in the day. Is this the last picture? Nope. Sikorsky Blackhawk. There you go. That thing has seen some action all over the world. I think this might be the last picture. Yeah. All right. So there you go. Those are my pictures, and on to the videos.